In 2022, when William Samoei Ruto, together with the entire Kenya Kwanza brigade, were campaigning, they rubbished everything that Uhuru Kenyatta was doing. Ruto had said that he was pushed to the periphery and he could not advise Uhuru Kenyatta. He said that role was taken by Raila Amolo Odinga. And he promised Kenyans that he had a plan, an economic plan that would revive our country, telling them he started like an egg vendor. And he told them he understands every predicament that Kenyans go through, telling them that Uhuru and Raila were sons of rich and influential persons in this country, and therefore they did not understand the pangs of poverty and hunger that many Kenyans have tasted. And William Ruto came up with this type of economic model he called bottom up. It became the slogan wherever he went. He told Kenyans that since independence, we've had an economic model that was thinking of the people who are at the apex of the economic pyramid. And he told them he would change that narrative, that he was going to form an economic model that would start looking at the people at the bottom down to the top. He called it bottom up. And he sold it in such a way that people understood him. He classified Kenyans into two groups, the hustlers and the rich. It was an economic class. And he told them, mine will be looking at the hustlers. He told them, even in terms of appointments, he would think of them. In fact, even after taking power, questions have been there whether the bottom-up economy is just on paper or it's real. But Ruto has insisted that he has changed this economy. He has turned it around, saying that the basic commodities, that the prices of the basic commodities have really fallen, despite the fact that people are saying that we have school fees that is still skyrocketing. There are families who are jobless, who cannot afford a meal a day. There are heavy taxations with the two finance bills, 2023 and 2024. We have people are crying fall, companies are closing, but Ruto insists that everything is on course and he has changed this country.
Over the past 2 years, our government has rallied the country behind the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, the basis upon which we were elected in the democratic elections of the year 2022. We have achieved significant progress in increasing food production by reducing the cost of farm inputs, thereby lowering the cost of food and lowering the cost of living. We have stabilized the economy by preventing what was an imminent debt default. We have stabilized fuel prices, lowered inflation to an all-record low of 4.6%, and we have stabilized the foreign exchange regime.
Now, he had a team that was appointed to defend this economic model. They even went to the US, and that team was headed by Ndindi. Even to date, David Ndindi still defends that. He was neutral. In fact, there's economic advisors who are taking a lot of money, and the Kenyans are asking, really, if these people are the kind of people who are advising William Ruto to increase taxes, to introduce Finance Bill 2023 and 2024, yet they are still taking a lot of money as economic advisors. Where are we headed? Not only Ndindi and the group. I remember the budget committee chair, Ndindi Nyoro, a young man who's known for his economic prowess, used to defend this economic model. on TV, wherever he was, he joined that bandwagon of bashing and attacking Uhuru and Raila, and he said they had a plan. He has continued to do that until recently when he went mute after it was very clear that William Ruto wanted to impeach Rigathi Gachagua, and Ndindi Nyoro decided to take a sabbatical leave. Now, Ndindi Nyoro broke his silence because he rarely talks. Ever since he decided to go quiet, he rarely talks about anything. But he shocked many when he took a swipe at William Ruto, telling William Ruto that you cannot continue telling people that the economy is growing. People should feel it in their pockets. In terms of purchasing power, let the people tell you what they feel about you, what they think about you, what they think about the economic model that you have given them. That it is not you who should be going there bragging and telling people that you know this model is working the way William Ruto has been doing.
I should not be coming here as budget chair to convince Kenyans how the economy is growing. It is the Kenyan people who should be telling me the economy is growing. And therefore that calls upon us, all of us in this hall, that all the policies that we make must advance an egalitarian society, must promote equality and equity, so that even as the economy grows, it should not be growing in such a forum. It should be growing in the pockets of the Kenyan people, and I think that is a component of making sure our resources are well distributed.
This is happening after rumors going on that the people who defied Ruto's order to impeach Rigathi Gachagua are going to be punished. In fact, everyone who is heading any committee in the National Assembly or in the Senate are to be ejected because they didn't take part in impeaching Gachagua, or they voted to try and protect Gachagua. And top on the list is Ndindi Nyoro. Now, for Ndindi Nyoro to come out during this moment, it is very suspicious, because he's coming at a time when many feel that he's under siege. He didn't vote. In fact, he boycotted the voting against Rigathi Gachagua. And when subsequently Kithure Kindiki was appointed as the deputy, he was not there too, and then he boycotted the swearing in. Remember, Ndindi Nyoro is one person who had been promised by Ruto, even on public, that he's a young man. After William Ruto and the group, he would take over. At some moment, Ruto was sending emissaries just to tell him that we have a plan for you. It was all joke, because now we know from people who are very close to the sources that William Ruto had even told Irungu Kangata to resign. He had even told Anne Waiguru to resign. He told those governors to resign so that he could appoint them. The question is, had they resigned, what would have happened? Because he had Kithure Kindiki in mind, and he had set his mind to appoint him as the deputy president.
I should not be coming here as budget chair to convince Kenyans how the economy is growing. It is the Kenyan people who should be telling me the economy is growing. And therefore that calls upon us, all of us in this hall, that all the policies that we make must advance an egalitarian society, must promote equality and equity, so that even as the economy grows, it should not be growing in such a forum. It should be growing in the pockets of the Kenyan people, and I think that is a component of making sure our resources are well distributed.
He realizes that all this was poisoned chalice. William Ruto wanted his downfall, to annihilate him, because William Ruto seemingly has got a plan to dismantle Mount Kenya, that unity and progress. And Ndindi Nyoro seems to be mad, and so he's taking on William Ruto head on. This is a revenge mission. We've heard rumors from certain quarters that he even wants to resign. And maybe this is a way of provoking Ruto and the group, provoking Kimani Chungwa to go and remove him from the committee. He's ready to fight, because that was confrontation. He's ready to cut a net for himself. You see, Ndindi Nyoro is doing some good work in Kiharu, and therefore, even if he resigns, even if we remove him from those committees, Ndindi Nyoro will be re-elected if things don't change, because he has aligned himself to the people. He's working for them. A time is coming when the people will ask you who really voted you. Was it William Ruto or us? Because you will have to account for what you've done for the 5 years that you've been in power. You will not go to the people and say, Raila has said, Ruto has said, Om Davadi has said. It will be you against the people. So Ndindi Nyoro seems to be aligning himself to the people. That is why he's speaking the language of the people. People have been saying that we don't feel this progress. We don't feel the economic model. Because according to William Ruto, bottom up simply meant that you subsidize fertilizer, and that was all. There were other things like school fees and employment and guarding and protecting the very, very few jobs that we have. But look at what is happening. So Ndindi Nyoro is aligning himself to the people, and he's telling William Ruto it doesn't matter. You know, I sometimes love betrayal in politics. Betrayal, makes us understand things that we didn't know. Betrayal makes people start waking up, like Ndindi Nyoro is now waking up. Ndindi Nyoro has never said this before. He used to defend that model, but now he's saying, let no one defend, let Kenyans defend. From where you sit, can you look at this economic model and say William Ruto has worked on the economy, he has turned it around for the period that he has been in power for the 2 years? Can you say that what he has done is commensurate to the time that he was given vis-a-vis the promises? In a scale of 0 to 10, how much can you give William Ruto? And would you defend that William Ruto is given more time to turn around this economy? Because according to Ndindi Nyoro, I don't think that is his thought. He believes that this is a government that has failed, if you ask me. We are waiting to see what is going to happen, but Ndindi Nyoro has decided, I will speak the truth, and the truth shall set me free. But remember, Rigathi is saying that he was victimized because of the truth that he was speaking. As to whether they are going to victimize Ndindi Nyoro, I don't know. The best they can do is to remove him from the budget committee. He will still remain a member of parliament.